Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door,
Me, DK.
And me, Than.
bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and Laser Force. Uh, Old man Than, you back home?
Yes, I am. Yes,
On
I
a proper
am.
mic this time.
Yeah. We can actually hear you.
You know what? Fuck both of you.
Look, that was partially my bad because you did warn me. Hey, look, it's quite quiet. Maybe you want to boost the volume a little bit. Um,
Yeah,
and
you
I,
just need a better producer, Than.
yeah.
You need to get on that shit, Steve.
when I cut it, and I was like, oh no, it sounds pretty good on my headphones. I'm sure it'll be all right. And then I played it back, and YouTube was like, oh, fuck. Oh well. Fuck
Well, the
it.
rest of our listeners need to get better headphones. I definitely blame the listeners. That's always A-plus strategy for building an audience, right?
Yeah, especially a niche audience like ours.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're most of them know you on a semi-personal level, so it's all right to
Yeah.
give them some shit. But you're back from West Coast.
I am back from West Coast.
And we've been dying to hear all about it. Obviously, a lot of people watch the stream.
I don't know that a lot of people watch the stream, but I know some people did.
4 people watched the stream. I know Russ was on
I
there.
caught the crucial moment. That's all that matters.
See, that's the moment I
We-
missed.
We will get to that, I promise.
Look, but from before we get into that tournament, we're gonna shill the crap out of my tournament. God damn it. Which is Auckland Internationals 2020. Y'all should buy tickets because it's gonna be a good time.
So Steve-O, I mean, if they were gonna buy tickets, what dates should they maybe be looking for?
So it's in July. I know that much, and it's July the 20th until the 24th.
Oh my God, you don't even have the dates for the tournament that's being held at your site that you're organizing off the top of your head. Yes, it's in Auckland, July 2020, the 20th to the 24th.
I just remember there's a lot of.
I prefer
20s.
the 24th.
Yeah,
I'll go
that-
with that instead.
Sorry, there's
Oh.
a question mark on my teleprompter here. So, yeah, okay. Y'all should buy tickets. Come and see us. It's gonna be fun. But before we get into the hype of that tournament, let's close off a tournament that seemed like it was a bit of fun at West Coast this year.
No, I would definitely agree that it was definitely a super fun, super relaxed tournament. We ended up only having 4 teams. Just there was originally, it was looking like it was going to be 5 or 6, and then things happened as they always do. And so we ended up with St. George, Chula Marcos, or San Vista, however you
Marco
want to
Vista for the
Marco
50th
Vista?
time. God.
whatever. I don't care. And Marco Vista plus Loveland, because Sergeant Tucker was their 6th for that team. Sacramento, and then a team of crazy Germans. So, from only having four teams, it was a little sad for me personally because this was the first tournament that I'd been to since Brisbane, because I obviously didn't go to Detroit this year.
Too famous.
And no, not even a little bit.
For us.
Not even a little bit. So it was a little sad for me because there were some people that I was hoping to see that were supposed to be there that ended up not being able to go. That happens.
I can feel some passive aggression coming off of that particular set of remarks.
Not pointing any fingers, but
not pointing at any fingers at either of my co-hosts, but that's cool.
Hey man, literally that's a big trip.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I'm
a little bit more than the other, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, but believe me, one person is getting this a hell of a lot more than the other on this pod. But there's there's a little bit of passive aggressiveness being thrown both ways.
Fair, fair.
Cool. But you know, the benefit to us only having the 4 teams meant that it gave us a lot more breathing room with the time allotments, which meant that we were able to do a lot more one-on-one coaching and explanations with the Germans, which was kind of important because they were coming in on not a lot of total Space Marines 5 games, because Space Marines 5 doesn't really get played in Germany all that much between all the sites, like at all. They've got this other game mode that I'll explain later that they do most of their inner site stuff on, and then they were also stepping into the international rules at the same time. So having the additional time to be able to spend with them to work through things and explain things and all that good stuff, it ended up being a net positive for sure.
I mean, yeah, like just off the back of the last pod that you did with them, it sounded like they had a pretty good time, and were pretty excited about the game.
Yeah, no, I would say that's definitely an accurate statement. The one thing I know that they mentioned on last week's pod that you so shittily produced and didn't boost the sound on, was that how did Marcus or Andy put it? Basically, that because they knew they had no shot of winning after kind of getting there the first day and starting to be trained on things, they were able to just kind of like enjoy the learning experience.
There's a kind of freedom that comes with that.
Yeah, and there was by and large, like it was just a really good flow to the entirety of the days. There wasn't a ton of angst. There wasn't there was pretty good spirit between all the teams. So there's as always there was some exceptions to that, but that I don't really necessarily think has any place in this podcast. But by and large, it was. But by and large, it was about as drama-free a tournament as I've been to.
I mean, maybe that's reflected by the team that's hosting it, or the person that's coordinating the tournament. Because Thunder is probably one of the most chill dudes on the scene. Until you get him on a podcast to talk shit about people.
Yeah, and then he says shucky darns a lot.
Shucky darns.
Definitely got the explicit tag on that one.
Yeah,
I know.
I can't believe
totally.
you said that, bro.
Me either. I'm really pushing the envelope right now.
Yeah. Oh, which reminds me, just to make sure that we get fully demonetized in China, I want to throw in a big hashtag free Hong Kong right now.
Yeah.
On a serious
it's buried
note,
in the podcast.
I do want to get a T-shirt made up now of hashtag Shucky Dance. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
Even more taboo than free Hong Kong.
Pretty much. And I mean, to your point, I mean, yeah, there could definitely be something to that, although I was thinking back to the last time we had a tournament in St. George, the last West Coast we had that was like almost 10 years ago now. There was some drama during that tournament, so
but it was a long time ago. People were younger. It was a different set of players, and we were playing by janky rules, so there was going to be more butthurt associated with it.
Yeah, this tournament definitely felt it's just like bunch of mates getting together to play some laser tag and bring a new site along, which was just super super fun. I mean, as far as the results and how the tournament actually ended out, I mean, because we had four teams, we did 3 rounds of round robin, because why wouldn't you at that point, just to try to get teams games in the maze. Now, one of the things that we did do with this that was different was that we basically made a conscious decision to make the final single elim, basically so there'd be more time for social games.
Right.
Because that's always like everybody's complaint. Oh man, I didn't get a chance to play a social game with insert people here that you wanted to be on a team with for some games. And with the approach that this we were taking with this tournament, was like, cool, we'll just do it that way. Through round play, like there was very kind of clear delineation as to what was going to happen. Sacramento was going to beat Germany. Chula was going to beat Sacramento and Germany, and St. George was just going to wreck everybody. And that's, I mean, that's literally what happened during the rounds. Like during round play, every single match was a 6-0. There were
it looked pretty clear cut just from the games that I saw from the initial kind of stream.
Yeah, and I didn't spend too much time in the chat because, funnily enough, with 4 teams, you're either playing or you're reffing. So I didn't really get too much of a chance to see too much, but I definitely, when I would pop in and scroll through every so often, definitely a lot of shit being talked about, really bad lasers being played.
Well, that's the chat at every tournament. It's very easy for the people who are watching who
didn't go
aren't in the games to know exactly when you're supposed to nuke and whatnot.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, like, they weren't necessarily wrong, especially on day one, because for those of you playing along at home that have never been to St. George, which is probably a lot of you, it's a very small, fast maze, and there are really, I'm gonna say there are like 2.5 to 3.5 resupply spots.
I think 2.5 is generous.
Yeah, and because it's such it's such a small floor space being used, because while it is a 2-story maze, the second floor doesn't get used because the second floor is just broken, and also has very low ceilings, which can just it's not safe. Let's put it that way. It's not safe at the speeds that we move to use the second story. It's just not.
It's my favorite part of any laser tag arena.
Yeah. So you've got a maze that generously might be 3,000 square feet of floor space, which is, for those of you in metric, not big. And with minimal amounts of resupply spots. So if you get kicked, you're probably going to have a bad time, because there's a very limited number of places you can go, and potentially they can end up there before you do without chasing you, because there's a lot of parallel paths. There's a lot of different ways you can take to get to the same place. It
makes getting kicked very uncomfortable.
Well, it's very much a zone of control maze. You have to be controlling different parts of the maze in order to do anything effectively, which yes, I understand is, you can say that about most arenas. You have to be controlling certain things in order for your game to not completely suck. But in St. George, it's magnified because of how small the arena is and because of how few resupply spots there are relative to the size of the maze. And it's a maze that punishes small mistakes very quickly and very painfully. It's not like the Sacramento maze or or Detroit or Brisbane or really any larger maze where if you make a small mistake, yeah, okay, it kind of sucks, but the recovery from a small mistake, might not be a big deal. Small mistakes in St. George, you get kicked, and it's a little challenging in those moments. Having said that, the arena layout itself really does make very good. They make very good use of the floor space that they have. So it's not like it's a poorly thought out maze where it's like things make no sense where they are. It's well laid out for the space limitations that they have. I don't really necessarily know much that I would do differently with their maze layout, bar closing up a couple of cutouts that are stupid. But that's
there
just
you
me.
have it.
But that's just me. But yeah, so I mean, through rounds, yeah. St. George was wrecking everybody. Chula was pretty much wrecking us and Germany, and we wrecked Germany. We gave Chula some nervous moments during round 2, but like our match against them round 3, it was pretty much like, well, this sucks. We have regressed and no longer know how to play laser tag.
It's almost like you don't have a site to play it normally.
Yeah, it was that definitely, the whole knocking the rust off thing was a bit of a challenge. And one of the nice things that we got, Ace from Utah has actually recently moved to Texas as well. But he decided to come back for this tournament, so we actually got Ace as our 6th, which was definitely a huge positive. It was really good having somebody on the team that had played the maze a bunch, and we basically ended up making him the heavy for most of the round games because he had a better innate understanding of how to at least attempt to defend in that
Also, always clean up after you, which is a nice thing.
Always remember to tip Ace, kids.
Yeah, I mean, he actually did that at a couple of the restaurants that we went out to this last week.
It's just his move, man.
Yeah,
totally is.
That's how he piles up those sportsmanship trophies.
He actually got a penalty this tournament, so I don't know if he can be considered for sportsman.
The streak
anymore.
Is dead.
Oh, streak is dead.
What
it's
the
a wide open
shucky
field,
dance?
Yeah, he got 1 for the tournament. So I know it's all of our things are broken for him.
You heard
now.
it here first. Ace is canceled.
Completely canceled.
So like by the sounds of it, because I didn't actually see the final standings, it sounds like the standings ended up how you would have expected them to end up.
Well, I mean, the standings through rounds, yeah.
What happened in the finals, then?
Spoiler alert.
Well, remember that comment about we had said we were doing a single elim finals instead of the double elim finals that we normally do? So, it started out, it was going to be 1v4, 2v3 for round seedings. Loser of both those plays to see who gets third, and winner of those plays for first and second.
Right.
And the 1v4 match was St. George v Germany, and that went exactly like you would have expected it to.
Yeah.
It just did, and I have to give the Germans a ton of credit. Like the difference in the quality of their gameplay from when they showed up and started like getting practice games in to through the finals was night and day.
I could see it on the stream. They were kind of adapting to things, recovering. Their speed was better at adjusting to some things they needed to do, so it was noticeable even from an outside observer.
Were there five of them, or?
No, they actually had 7.
Really?
They actually they actually had 7 people come over. I mean, when you get a flash sale for $300-ish round trip ticket from Germany to Vegas. You bring 7 people and combine two sites and say, hey, we have a team. But they're all newer players because Laser Force is new into Germany as of within the last like 3 or 4 years, and a couple of their players had only started playing in like April of this year, and their entire team had less games than me.
That's crazy.
So, and when I say that they have less games than I play Laser Force actually thinks I have, and which is 2,000 less than I actually have because first SAT game computer got lost and a bunch of us lost games.
R.I.P.
Yeah, pretty much. So, the difference in their play was it was really fantastic to see. So yeah, I mean, all credit to our German brethren for coming over and turning a Vegas vacation into some laser tag learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Come to Auckland.
You should absolutely come to Auckland.
Well,
I know Marcus.
One of them's planning.
Yeah. I hope he can rustle up a team. That'd be kind of nice.
Yeah, pretty cool to have 3 different continents represented all at once.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and the reality is, I mean, if they brought the same set of if they brought 6 of the same 7, because one of them's literally about to go in for hip surgery, so that's 5. So he's not going to be doing much of anything for a while because he's got some surgeries that are coming up. But if the other 6 that came to Utah showed up in Auckland, I think they would give it a game. They would. I'm not necessarily saying that they would be top of the table or anything because they wouldn't be, but they would definitely be putting up a fight in all the games that they were in. So
which would be
well,
good.
you learn so much after your first tournament and after that initial kind of
blooding
culling experience. Yeah.
There's a larger pool of players to test your metal against. Like, usually there's 1 or 2 teams that are kind of lower tier usually.
Yep.
And being in the mix with a couple of those teams, when you play those teams, those games are great fun. So yeah, I think they do all right.
Yeah. So
let's not keep us in suspense. What happened in the crucial match?
So next match, Chula, Sacramento, and so game 1 of said match was actually unusual in and of itself, in that the game went to time. See previous comments about the maze and the resupply spots and all that. There were a lot of of eliminations in this tournament, which also helped, us have a lot more slack time for other things, which was kind of cool. But literally, first game ends. There's one person alive on Sacramento and two people alive on Chula. Aiden was playing Commander for us, and he ended up on 6 lives left at the end of the game. And for Chula, Sergeant Tucker and Snowflake were alive on 5 and 3 lives respectively. But because we didn't get elimed and Chula had a penalty, we only lost by 12k. Only, in quotes. We are not good point farmers on our team, and Snowflake was amazing at point farming, and so was Dylan. Because he's so damn tall, he just looks over everything. He's like, I'm shooting you, I'm shooting you, I'm shooting you, I'm shooting you. It was so irritating and depressing, but you get that. And so we go into the next game knowing that, okay, well, maybe if we can do something, we can get a result. And
which we've been on teams and said that probably a dozen times in the past, and pretty much every time we try something and it still doesn't work.
So sometimes it's like, no. And well, this time the thing happened. There was some comment that Chula apparently tried something a little bit different than what they'd been doing. I can neither confirm nor deny that because I was playing ammo and so wasn't really out in the mix of things. But I do know that Odin came back at about 3-4 minutes in, and he's like, okay, Connor's dead. Connor being Snowflake, the Chula commander, and I'm like, what? It's like, Connor's dead. What? Yeah, Connor's dead. And Autumn, who was playing medic for Sacramento, she's like, he didn't drop a nuke. Aiden just kind of stands there, kind of like, yeah, I know, he's dead. Okay, so that turned out, after looking at the stat site later, thank you, Russ. Connor died at the 3-minute 55-second mark.
Brutal.
Game only went like 7.5 minutes. And talking, with them afterward, he was just like, yeah, I got caught out, and then that nuke happened, and I was on 3 lives, and I just didn't get back to my medic. But so basically, we needed to win by 12k, and we won by like 24k with the
elim bonus.
Yeah, with the elim bonus, and then we promptly got fucking stomped by St. George.
Yeah, we can just cut through that. The rest of that one.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely a thing that happened there. I mean, we got stomped. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
but hey, we learned 2 things from that. One, see, you guys didn't need me. It's not that big a deal. You still came in second. It still would have come in second with me, so no biggie. And second, thus began the curse of the resupply. Don't come on the resupply, because then you're going to go to a tournament and your team's going to blow up at a crucial moment. So sorry, Connor, you had to eat the resupply curse.
We're on the resupply all the time. We're fucked.
Well, yeah. When's the last time you saw any of us win anything?
True.
It's
been
accurate.
a good decade.
It has been, or a bad one, depending upon the point of view. And so I feel like, I mean, I do have to give Chula a ton of credit. Like, they played so well this week. I mean,
they were stomping you guys.
Oh, with no question on that whatsoever. I mean, for all the garbage that I like to give people sometimes. No, they were very definitely a better team than we were at this tournament, no question. We just happened to do a thing at the exact moment that we needed to do the thing. So, yeah, I mean, with with the lineups that they were running consistently and what they were doing. I mean, they were they were giving St. George some pretty good games too. So, you know, the fact that we managed to, you know, have the only 4-2 match in the entire tournament right at the exact moment that we needed to do it does not in any way, shape, or form reduce the quality of the game that they had played throughout the week. Snowflake, Connor was playing a ridiculous point farmy commander, which, you know, fuck you, Connor, I hate you. And was just coming out with these ridiculous scores and doing good things for his team. So it's not like he was just farming for the sake of farming. He was farming for the sake of, you know, helping to break things. Dylan, who formerly has gone by the God and was going by Yi this tournament, was turning in some absolutely ridiculous heavy games. You know, and yes, he has the advantage that he's like 6'6", so was able to look over and legally shoot over things that, you know, most of us really couldn't.
Yeah, I can see that being a real advantage on sort of their red and yellow towers.
Oh, dude, him in red, just like, you know, they would be resupplying in the yellow tower, and the red area, for those of you again who've never been there, red area is just literally next to the yellow, and you can basically defend yellow from the red base area. And he'd be over there just like chilling behind a wall, looking over, and, you know, pop up, legal shot, just, you know, crunch, down, go back, look over the wall, where's the next person I can shoot in a random area. I mean, he was wrecking people. And Sergeant Tucker from Loveland and Applesauce were playing solid resup the whole, you know, the whole time. And Soy Boy, who's one of their newer players, I think this is his first tournament, but he's not a newer player. And Kodama were playing scouts, and yeah, they were functioning very well as a unit. So really,
yeah, Kodama was beating him some 3 hits pretty good.
Yeah, so I don't want to take anything away from them for how they were playing for the week. The reality is that, you know, had we not gotten the exact result we needed in that game, like they did deserve to finish second. It just didn't happen that way.
But hey, upsets make sports exciting. So
upsets do make sports exciting, especially when you're the one that's providing the upset, not the one getting.
Yeah,
upset.
that's far more exciting. I agree.
And then St. George. I mean, yeah, nobody expected them to lose in their own maze.
Did they drop a game or nah?
Nah, they didn't drop. They didn't
Not
drop
that I
game.
saw.
No, they didn't drop a game the whole tournament.
Right.
They got pushed a couple of times briefly, and then, you know, their overall quality and maze knowledge came into effect, and they, you know, put an end to that real quick.
Right.
You know, watching Brandon play in his own maze is both a joy and terrifying to behold all at the same time, because he takes that same relative calm that, you know, anybody who's seen him play, he always looks like he's moving at maybe 3/4 speed, super laconic, super just chill, and then you walk out and you realize that he's just wrecked your entire team so hard and you're like, I don't even know how you did that, but you did.
Hashtag Shucky Dance.
He shuck you darned all over you.
I needed a shower afterward. He shucky darned so hard on me.
Right on. So I mean, it sounded like like it was a good time. I was actually like legitimately almost FOMO'd into coming, and then
Oh, you and me both, buddy.
and then like after watching like I think the training stream, I was like, I wonder if it's too late. It's too late to get on a plane.
You could have. I mean, I would have definitely rostered 7 for you. And that might have helped some other things with my team, but that's neither here nor there.
You know what? Like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Didn't go, so missed out. And that's what happens when you don't go, kids. When you don't go to a tournament, you miss out. You miss out on all the happy times.
So don't let this happen to you at Auckland, July 20th through 24th, 2020.
Ta-da!
Yeah. Full circle, yo.
Now, I mean, people almost might think that we're like, almost good at this podcasting thing, bringing that all full circle.
I don't think anybody thinks that.
I mean, to be fair, if anybody does think we're good at it, they should really probably
just go back and listen to the the last podcast if you can hear it.
Fuck you.
No, I'm throwing myself under the bus too. Our producer Steve
fair.
didn't do his job properly.
It's accurate.
Well, look, I hope it was good training for like prep for next year.
This was the first time that I'd been in a maze since Brisbane in 2018, and it was kind of nice at a personal level to kind of figure out that I can still play to a certain level. I'm certainly not playing to the level that I was in my early to mid 20s, but I'm just kind of accepting that yes, my reaction time is just going to be that fraction slower because it happens. But that and knowing that I still have the ability to manage a team pretty well, that was also kind of a nice thing to realize as well.
That's such an important skill too, like being able to actually lead a team.
Certain things I could have done better if I'd cared more, but
Hashtag Shucky Dance.
Another time, perhaps.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, look. I hope to see. a good portion of the people that played West Coast down this way. Hopefully, it relit a lot of fires in the competitive bellies of our Space Marines 5 players. But did you wanna add anything? Any final thoughts?
Well, for those of you that missed West Coast, there is an East Coast coming up also.
Do you know when and where?
Where is Syracuse? I think dates are still slightly TBD.
No, the dates are actually set. So
and because we're so prepared, we know exactly when they are.
And those dates would be some time in.
We didn't know we were gonna get ambushed by the co-host of this podcast.
I got it. East Coast is going to be February 10th through 12th in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, hey, another beginning of the week tournament I'm probably not gonna be able to make. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
Let's just have a quick look on the old Google Flight Tracker and see if that's a good one.
So the other thing with this tournament that's going to make it a little bit interesting and different is that this one is going to be a salary cap tournament, in as much as you can play with anybody that you want as long as you can meet the salary cap requirements with it.
So,
and we mean salary in terms of relative skill level. Don't anybody
correct.
get all excited and think we're getting paid for once.
Yeah, correct.
I would be actually very keen once all the details of that have been finalized. I'm super keen to do a podcast about that, because that idea intrigues the shit out of me. Especially like if someone can figure out how to run a fantasy league based on that, because that would be pretty cool.
I think our good friend Night Owl was working on it. So
really?
We'll get him on board that. But
so
yeah, hopefully
awesome.
We'll get the official rules for the salary cap tournament from one Mr. Peanut, aka Schmorgaborges, on on Facebook. Figured out here pretty quick.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, I can't wait.
Scoony Bob Johnson.
Yeah, well, Scoony Bob. Yeah, I can't wait for the deets of that tournament to get released, because that sounds awfully intriguing.
The only thing that sounds terrible about that tournament is it's fucking Syracuse, which is in upstate New York, in February. And random trivia kids, Syracuse gets on average the most snow of any city in the U.S. during the winter. So
I'm sure global warming will take care of it. No worries.
yeah, don't worry about it. Maybe you come over and, you know. Oh, wait, did you say the 23rd of February?
No, I said February 10th through 12th. How the fuck did you get 23rd?
10 plus 12 is 22. You just need one more. You're at 23rd.
That's right. Sorry, I got distracted by going on the Air New Zealand website.
Of course.
This is great radio, by the way.
I'm going to come over for the Super Bowl and then, tack on a Laser Force tournament on the end of that. That might be a goer. That's a good reason to come over. All right.
I could totally see you doing that too.
Yeah. That. This is why I didn't hear the dates, because I heard February. I was like, ooh, Super Bowl. All right. Well, yeah. When we get more deets on how that's gonna run, we'll do a dedicated podcast for that, because that sounds dope. But I think that'll probably do it for today.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right. Well, look, I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. We'll see you next week.